Sana Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. By the virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I hereby declare that this congregation of the Vaal University of Technology is duly constituted for the diplomas and the degrees to be conferred to those students whose names appear on the program. As we remain standing, we shall now proceed by singing the national anthem.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, as a congregation, we are invited to observe a moment as we observe a prayer before we commence with the official program. Dear Almighty, the Omniscient One, we come before you with all humility to serve you and your people. Please guide us in everything that we say and do. Bless each and every one of us, and bless our institution. Inspire us to strive for which is good, and not to be self-seeking and serve our own interest, but let everything be done to your glory. Use us as your vessels of honor, so that the fruit of our labor may endure, for peace and goodwill towards all mankind. We ask this in your name. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome to the graduation ceremony of the Vaal University of Technology at the Vanderbilt Park campus. Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome you as a congregation gathered here today to witness and celebrate the achievement of our students at VUT on this momentous occasion. A special word of welcome to our distinguished guests, members of staff, families, and friends. To all diplomats and graduates, welcome to this long-awaited day. May it be everything you hoped for. Vice-Chancellor, it is my honor to present to you candidates of the Faculty of Human Sciences of the Vaal University of Technology, whose names appear on the program for the receiving of diplomas and degrees. For National Diploma, Safety Management, Makume T. Cum Laude. Muchavi N. Cum Laude. Ngumalo N. Cum Laude. Sibanyoni P.T. Cum Laude. Baloyi T. Baloyi T. Baloyi V. Betula S.E. Dlamini B.T. Falate T.E. Thank you. Mhlubi T.G. Jeleni K. Chwaha S.S. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Komani P.H. Legine M.A. Lempe P.M. Dijane O.G. Lucia L.G. Mabaso B. Mabilo TV. Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. Member of SRC, Mabunda D. Thank you. Madonsela M. Maduna N. Masangu L.M. Mahunyele C. Magatu PP. Thank you. Malachi CN. Malebo MJ. Malinga S. Maloma FI. Maluleke MH. Maluleke T. Mamupu KL. Masingi LD. Matebula T. Thank you. Maticha AM. Madube T. Maujana TNJ. Mabunga U. Mbanjwa ZN. Thank you. Silence, please. Mbiza KK. Mboweni S. Thank you. Thank you. Mdandile MT. Gwenya NP. Mkabela PT. Modau T. Mofoken DN. Mohale MM. Mokanyane KV. Mokwena PG. Thank you. Molapo PS. Molewa LP. Morifi TC. Motale TI. Motlouze M. Motsapi T. Mthethwa ZN. Thank you. Mtombeni MM. Moelasi MZS. Ndala NE. Thank you. Nemakonde AM. Thank you. Netsianda TC. Gamma SZ. Ngobeni ME. Ngoma, thank you. Ngomani PV. Ngwenya KK. Thank you. Nhlapo NP. Nkadimen M. Nkomo BO. Thank you. Thank you. Nkonwana TP. Thank you. Nkuna NP. Nkuna V. Ntabin S. Nteke TA. Ntangase MS. Pala SM. Pasha MS. Thank you. Thank you. Pokwani MC. Polafudi RAK. Pofolo LMM. Raboroko LT. Rasenyalo KV. Shirinda TE. Sibeko TF. Sibia N. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may we keep places and ululating short for the sake of time. Thank you. Simba ST. Thank you. Dau ME. Takeri TM. Tubahali M. Sebere M. Tolo N. Soteti VN. Zwani G. For the diploma, labor law, Koza A. Y. Cum laude. Maswangani N. Cum laude. Moetasi J. Cum laude. Thank you. Ntombela N. B. Cum laude. Pilusa L. Cum laude. Badi TV. Kanka LP. Ruda N. Gaza W. Thank you. Gumede NPA. Hulu S. Khani E. Thank you. Kesa NT. Koza T. Deputy N. Mabula P. Mahwana K.R. Makubela F. Maluleke K.T. Manga P.W. Masango H.M. Mashala T.P. Matlala R.S. Matsapula P.N. Matepe C. Mbongwa Z.G. Mkasi M.P. Thank you. Mtambo S.A. Moshomi T.K. Molepo T.M. Molokome L. Motau, thank you. Motau KP. Mtombeni V. Motatebe KM. Thank you. Mtembu T. Mtombeni BH. Molauti RO. Ndlovu LB. Ndlovu BP. Nkuna BH. Ntongwa BS. Rabapani M. Radamba A. Radebe MT. Ramela LL. Serobe MO. Shikwambana TP. Twala PH. Solo XB. Vogwani NBC. Zakwe TAH. Zwani T. For the Advanced Diploma, Safety Management, Motto MG Cum Laude. Ndaba LD Cum Laude. Gamma T. Baloi K. Lamola M. Letswalo MT. Maime BG. Malise NR. Maswanganye LO. Matidiso K. Thank you. Mavumbegwe TP. Moti DBE. Mtimkulu RS. Vumvu NNP. Nkomo NE. Palakatela KLW. Sebakwa PV. Vice-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, I hereby request that you confer the diplomas and degrees in absentia on those students whose names appear on the program but could not be present today.
I hereby do confer the degrees and the diplomas in absentia on those students whose names appear on the program but could not be here today.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to present to you Vice-Chancellor's awards. These awards are given to students who obtain the highest average in their faculty for the National Diploma, Postgraduate Diploma, Baccalaureate Technologia, and Magister Technologia in Faculty of Human Sciences. For this ceremony, we have 2 students who obtained 84%. So normally we give it to 1 student, but here we are going to have 2 students. And Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Kungune S and Mkavi N. Thank you very much, Vice-Chancellor.
We are going now to confer an honorary degree. Vice-Chancellor, it is my honor to read the citation of the late Mama Zondeni Veronica Sebukwe. Born of farming parents, Kate and Henry Stini Mate in Shlobani village in Vryheid, KwaZulu-Natal on the 27th of July 1927, Mama Zondeli's Veronica Sebukwe transitioned at age 91 at her home in Graafreinet on the 15th of August 2018. She was the second eldest of 4 Mate daughters, namely Hilda, Gertrude, and Florence. Their father was a mine worker at Shlobani, where he also acquired an old farmstead, while their mother worked as a local teacher until she was dismissed by the then authorities. Mama Sobukwe had her first experiences and direct confrontations with racism, the apartheid state, and police at an early age, constantly challenging authorities on calling for justice on numerous occasions throughout her life. She left boarding school and went to study nursing at the Victoria Hospital in Lovedale College. Owing to her supreme wit and intelligence at Lovedale, she gracefully excelled in her studies and became a notable figure amongst her peers. She participated and led protest marches against racist conditions imposed on trainee black nurses at Victoria Hospital in Alice. Disgruntled with the abject conditions black nurses were subjected to at the training school, Mama Sobukwe became one of the leaders that organized and led a nurses' strike at the Victoria Hospital in 1947. Her leadership of this protest march resulted in a later meeting with Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe and the then Students' Representative Council president at the University of Fort Hare. During the nurses' strike, Sobukwe had become to address the striking nurses, and romantic sparks flew between the two. They met as equals in the heat of the struggle for national liberation, and he affectionately called her Zodwa. The young couple got married on the 6th of June, 1954, and in line with African tradition and matrimonial rites of passage, she received the customary nuptial name of Nosango. The couple were blessed with 4 children, namely Maliswa, the rooted one, Denelesizwe, sacrifice for the nation, and Dalinzebo, wealth creator, and Dedanzizwe, move ye nations. Following the positive action campaign against past laws of the Pan-African Congress of Azania that resulted in the Sharpeville Langa massacre on the 21st of March 1960, Mama Sobukwe fiercely challenged the apartheid regime on the unjust conditions surrounding Robert Sobukwe's incarceration under the draconian Sobukwe Clause. She remained a backbone for her family and sacrificed her life for freedom and the vision of a liberated Azania. Sharpeville resulted in the banning of political organizations, the arrest of political leaders, including Sobukwe, and also marked the beginning of the armed struggle in Azania. As a health practitioner and an activist in her own right, she single-handedly and repeatedly brought Robert Sobukwe's deterioration health to the fore and demanding his release. When all her efforts failed, she appealed to Foster to allow Sobukwe to leave South Africa permanently on an exit permit together with his family. Foster refuses this too, and Mama Sobukwe then asked that she be allowed to stay on Robben Island with Sobukwe to oversee his health herself. Foster refused. Not one of her multiple requests for meetings with the authorities were ever granted. Instead, Foster referred Mama Sobukwe to the then Minister of Justice, Petrus Cornelius Pelser, who in turn maintained the status quo, rejecting all her appeals. Interestingly, Mama Sobukwe's younger sister, Florence, married activist Dr. Fabian Ribeiro, and together they used their medical and nursing profession to help ordinary people in the black community pro bono during the darkest days of apartheid. When Mangaliso Sobukwe was incarcerated on Robben Island under the draconian Sobukwe Clause, the Ribeiros often accompanied Mama Sobukwe to visit him. For their political activism, the Ribeiro couple were ruthlessly honeycombed with bullets and assassinated at their home in December 1986 by the South African Civil Corporation Bureau Military Death Squad. Through great difficulties and so much humiliation, Mama Sobukwe became both mother and father to her children, and held her family name on her shoulders, never compromising her ideals, her values, and political outlook for a piece of bread. In 2008, she championed the establishment of the Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe Trust to preserve, celebrate, and profile the memory, as well as the intellectual and political legacy of her husband, Robert Mangosiko Liso Sobukwe. She served on the board of executives of the Sobukwe Trust and was a visionary leader behind the institution until her passing in August last year. Mama Sobukwe epitomized the collective experience of many African women throughout the continent whose roles and contributions in the liberation struggle remained unknown, written out of popular historical narratives, biographical memory, and national consciousness. She was a practical philosopher whose life is a testimony to her philosophy of selfless struggle, service to the people, and sacrifice for the nation, a sage who did not become part of the struggle, but selfish benefits and personal gains, but for the genuine cause of freedom. She outstood the test of time, outshone all her adversaries, and outlived many of her contemporaries. Through the tireless and commendable efforts of zeal of young people from the Black House Collective in Soweto, President Cyril Ramaphosa bestowed the Order of Luthuli in silver on Mama Sobukwe in April last year. This honorary doctorate by VUT is the second national honor to be bestowed upon her in recognition of her steadfast contributions to the Azanian liberation struggle and life sacrifices. Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe once said, "Africa never forgets. These martyrs of freedom, these young and budding women will be remembered and honored when Africa comes into her own. Indeed, we will always remember and honor the resilient and indomitable mother of Azania." Okay. This honorary doctorate degree is based posthumous. Vice-Chancellor, I hereby request you to confer the honorary doctorate in humanities to Mrs. Marty on behalf of the late Mama Veronica Zondent Sobukwe.
I do hereby confer posthumously the honorary doctorate on Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe. I hereby request the recipient, Mrs. Marty, to proceed to the podium and deliver an acceptance speech on behalf of the late Mama Veronica Sobukwe.
Mr. Chancellor, I don't know whether I'm saying that he's around, Mr. Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor, executives and managers, councillors and senators of the universities, professors and lecturers of the university, leaders of workers and workers, student leaders and students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fikile Mate. I am the dean to the late Veronica Sobukwe. On behalf of the Mate and Sobukwe family, we wish to thank the university community for bestowing this honor to one of the distinguished leaders of the struggle against oppression of the people of this great land. We are humbled that leaders who sacrifice so much for the love of their people are now being slowly recognized. I hope that we do not end with Sobukwe or the Sobukwe name, but continue for the sake of our children and great-children to recognize all those who gave up so much in the fight against oppression. On behalf of the Sobukwe and Mate families, I would like to express my greatest gratitude to this prestigious institution, the VUT University of Technology, for honoring our mother, Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe. I am here in attendance with the grandchildren of Mama Sobukwe, Adoke and Nomfundo Sobukwe. Can you see them, please? I'm also with the members of families who were closely with the Sobukwes, suffered with them throughout those years, and never turned their back on them, the Shachwayo families. At the same time, even though the other people were not able to come, please don't forget about the Mutupings and the Rosetta family who were close to Mama throughout those dark years, which went on and on for many years. We are all here to pay homage to Mama and to fulfill the task of accepting this great honor on behalf of the Sobukwe family. Firstly, I would like to apologize that the children of Mama Sobukwe could not be able to attend this ceremony to accept the honor on behalf of their mother. It's not because they demean this whole thing, but because both the sons, Dini and Dedani, are held up elsewhere, as well as the sister. They excuse themselves for not coming. That's why I'm here. I know that Mama Sobukwe would be overwhelmed by this award. I remember how excited she was last year when Tando Sipuyi, can you see Tando Sipuyi over there? The young man who has he has devoted his time and energy to the Sobukwe legacy, especially Mama Sobukwe. Thank you very much, Tando. And he came and informed her that VUT would be awarding her an honorary doctorate. This award ceremony has been planned for last year, September. Oh, sorry. I remember how excited she was last year when Tando told her that she is going to be Dr. Sobukwe. But true to her character, after all the excitement, she said, "There's nangigedwa sibaninzi." That's what she said, because she was such a humble person. She was really excited. Unfortunately, she was not able to receive, she's not here to receive her award. As a family, we are truly grateful to VUT Senate and the Honorary Degrees Committee for adopting the proposal to honor our mother with a doctorate in humanities. I would like to specifically thank Professor Ndondobzi Goditsvide and his leadership at VUT for taking time out of their busy schedule to visit Mama at her family home in Graafrenet last year in March. It turned out that Professor is an old friend of the Sobukwes, so maybe that's why the award. We don't know. But apparently his uncle, John Nyati Pokela, was a colleague of Sobukwe, and Professor Zide has been to all the Sobukwe families and I think occasions as well. I don't know. Look into it. In March last year, the leadership of VUT, as I said, visited us at Conferring and conveyed their intention to work in partnership with the Sobukwe family and Sobukwe Family Trust on a number of programs aimed at memorializing the legacy of the Sobukwes. We are truly grateful that this prestigious institution has committed itself to honoring some of the least honored heroes and heroines of Azania. In accepting this honor, there are a few things that I would like to highlight in relation to Mama Sobukwe. Firstly, in 2017, she received her first honor from young people at the Black House Collective, who organized the first ever tribute lecture in her honor. That is when I met Thando Sipui when he came to interview me, preparing for that occasion. And this is the first time any university in South Africa has awarded Mama with an honor. We are truly pleased and appreciative. A second tribute lecture in her honor was scheduled to coincide with the ceremony last year in September and was to be delivered by Afyong, the executive director of Moyo Watifa, that is the Pan-African Women's Network. We hope the lecture will commence sometime later this year. Last year, the Black House Collective, which is a group of very young academics, really, very young people. I don't think there's any one of them who has reached age 40 yet. These young people, they nominated her to receive the highest honor from the government. President Cyril Ramaphosa awarded her the Order of Luthuli in silver. It was the first national award recognizing her contribution to the liberation struggle. VUT also informed the family that they were contemplating instating a nursing scholarship named after Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobi. Thando Sipui is currently working on his research for a book or biography on the lives and times of Mama Sobukwe. We should give him all the support that he deserves. She was a grounded community activist and a dedicated Pan-Africanist. We hope that she is not the last of the forgotten heroes who will be awarded something by your institution. I thank you very much.
Koloi
I am indeed humbled. I'm humbled because the choir has done exceptionally well for this university. The choir that you see in front of you has won almost every competition that it has entered. I do invite you to go to the Vice-Chancellor's office. You will see that the office has become so small because of a number of trophies which this choir has brought to this university. And we have actually now been saying we need to find a good space for those trophies because they are not at this university to decorate the Vice-Chancellor's office, but they are at this university as a demonstration of what this choir means to this university and what this choir means to the community of the Vaal University of Technology. And so they do deserve yet another round of applause. The management that is sitting in front of us here had a dream last year, and the dream was to sharpen and to profile this institution through these unspoiled African voices. And management said we need to have a CD which is going to record these beautiful African voices. And that dream indeed did come to fruition. And today we do have a VUT choir CD with 16 songs. Mr. Vumile Nomanyama, working with Dr. Narisa Ramdane, will soon inform us on the date on which the CD would be launched. Dr. Ramdani is, of course, our Director, Resource Mobilization and Fundraising, a very strategic position because for a long time, we did not have any fundraising done at this institution until last year when we said, look, it cannot be right for an institution this magnitude not to have that strategic position. And so we are happy to announce that already she has started working in profiling the institution and fundraising. But of course, people need to understand that with fundraising, you don't just go to sponsors and say, I want 20 million, and immediately you come up with 20 million. You have to friend raise before you fundraise. And so I would ask Dr. Narisa to rise. Thank you. And now that I have requested her to rise, please don't go to her individually and say fundraise for me. It does not go like that. But of course, this choir has now 16 songs, and the CD will be available, but you'll be informed. And when that CD is available, it will come at a reasonable price. But I know that I'm speaking to the VUT colleagues and VUT community, the community that is so passionate about this institution. And if the CD is 100 rands, and evidently you will just turn a blind eye and take out another 100 rand, and make it 200. So which is going to be appreciated, because you would not be what you are were it not for this university. Mr. George Mufukeng, you will allow me to stay a little longer on the podium. So our arrangement is not going to pass for now. I want to recognize, colleagues, the following people. The members of council here present, we did recognize quite a number of them. yesterday. There are those who were here, there are those who were not here. But most importantly, in our midst, we do have Mr. Tebu Obujabutse. He's an internal council member. Not that the others are not important, they're all important, but because I'm seeing him for the first time today, I would like him to rise. Thank you very much, sir. And we have Mr. Joseph Khadebe, also a council member. Sometimes he can be naughty. I'm sorry, Mr. Joseph Khadebe. Thank you. And I want to recognize Dr. Monsami from CUT. Here? Yes. Thank you. And I want to recognize Councillor Vusi Chabalala, the Mayor of Maluti and Pofung Municipality. Okay. And members of the Bishops' Council present. Right. But I want to recognize the presence of Mr. Bennett Jogo, the Deputy Secretary of the Pan-Africanist Congress. Thank you. And I also want to recognize the presence of Ms. Chantel Links, the head of the PAC Gauteng. Thank you. I want to recognize the Sobukwe family and Sobukwe Foundation. Mama Mate did mention them, but nonetheless, Ms. Nomfundo Sobukwe. Thank you. Mr. Adoko Sobukwe White. That's Miss Mulobi. Okay. And then we have Miss Fikile Mate, Miss Ntanhla Mate, Getando was introduced already. And then, of course, Miss Cynthia Ishachwayo, as well as Miss Tuli Ishachwayo. You are all welcome. Evidently, I will be doing great injustice if I don't recognize my executive management. Colleagues, thank you very much for honoring this occasion. I also want to recognize the presence of the members of Senate as well as the academic staff, without whom this ceremony would not have been possible. I also want to recognize the presence of the administrative staff as well as both organized labor, Nteu and Nehau. Thank you for what you mean to this institution, as well as the president of the SRC and the SRC. You know, it's quite exciting that yesterday we had the former president, who's an active student leader, graduating. That was Elisha. And today we have another leader who's graduating, that's Dennis. And Dennis, can you just rise so that everybody should see the kind of a person you are? Thank you. It is always encouraging when you see student leaders taking after Robert Sobukwe. Robert Sobukwe was a student activist. He was the first president of the PAC, but above all, in matric those years, he was the first to get a distinction in English in matric. When I was not there, when he was a student at Forte with my late uncle, English academics just could not mark his assignments because he was just above everybody, including the very English lecturers. You know, Sobukwe did not like racism. And even the English speakers of the language, when he coined the term non-racialism, they said, no, there is nothing like that. Because he said, you cannot multiply racism and call it multiracialism. He said, there is too much racism for it to be multiplied. And so he said, look, let us rather talk non-racialism. They did not want to accept it, but clandestinely put it in the dictionary without acknowledging him. And now non-racialism is there because of Robert Sobukwe. Actually, Mama Veronica played a very, very good supportive role to Uncle Robert. She believed in a pen being mightier than a sword. Whenever Uncle Robert was incarcerated, her weapon was the pen. She would write incessantly to the powers that be. And typical them, they would say, no, fine, come to Robben Island, we are going to release him. And when he gets there, only to be told that, no, the Sobukwe clause does not allow him to be released. That was painful. Traveling all the way from Johannesburg to Cape Town with the hope that the husband is going to be released, only to be told there that, sorry, he's not going, because of the Sobukwe clause. And Robert Sobukwe is the only political prisoner who had the Sobukwe clause passed overnight. And Robert Sobukwe was the first political prisoner. The first political prisoner. And Robben Island, by the way, was meant for him. All the others followed him. It was meant for him. I was there in 1976. Not that I was a prisoner. No, I was not. But I had just come out of prison, nonetheless, but not Robben Island. I visited my uncle, who was the comrade to Uncle Robert. But he said to me at the time when we were fighting against the use of Afrikaans and Bantu education, he said, son, go there, grab that education, and you say to yourself and the world, in the absence of a better system of education, Bantu education has failed in me, and you'll be somebody. And he said to me, secondly, never say to yourself you are a product of Bantu education. Because if you say you are a product of Bantu education, you are actually promoting Bantu education. It did not make you who you are. You must say Bantu education has failed in me, and you'll be a leader one day. And that is why even today, just like some of my colleagues here, we go abroad, you sit in a class with people who have never been exposed to Bantu education, but when you write assignments, you beat them by far. I have the registrar here who has just completed a master's degree in corporate governance with Leeds University with a distinction. And you see, I'm very proud to mention him because by extension, he was my student at Forte, not because I stood in his class, but by extension. When I was a registrar, he was a student there. But Professor Moloi, who taught this young man, because Dan said, in me, Bantu education has no future. And look at where he is today. And so I want to thank the Corporate Affairs Department, which worked behind closed doors under the leadership of Mr. Mike Kuboni, as well as the registrar's portfolio, which equally worked behind scenes in making certain that this graduation ceremony becomes a success it has turned out to be. Members of the media here present, I have not forgotten you. You are most welcome. And I do know that you are going to capture not only the salient aspects of this ceremony, but the objectivity of everything that has been said. Parents and sponsors, we recognize you, but also captains of industry here in present. This is not our university. This university belongs to all of you. Last but by no means least, our celebrants, the graduates. Thank you for making this occasion a success. I have a few words to share with you. Mr. Mufugeng, I actually had two speeches, and as I was sitting there, I said to myself, which one is it going to be appropriate? But I said, nonetheless, I will mix them. So if I mix, I forget one page, understand that I'm really emotional as I'm standing here. Auntie, I want to say, not because of my relationship with the Sobukwe family, that this doctorate was considered. Lest people say it's nepotism. No, it's not nepotism. She went through every process which any other person would have gone through, and she was found suitable for the honorary doctorate to be bestowed upon her. So I just want to make that clear, because we have journalists here. They will tomorrow say, oh, we understand it's nepotism. It is not. It is purely on the basis of academic, intellectual, as well as political consideration. So the theme of this talk is premised on the philosophy of Ubuntu. We have spoken so much about humanity and humaneness and what Mama Sobukwe stood for. And this philosophy of Ubuntu is undergirded by the philosophy of umuntu ngabantu. Baribona basuthu mutu ke mutu kababangwe. AmaZulu uma sekhuluma kahle uzwa besithi izandla ziyagezana. However, as we journey along in life, we tend to forget this fundamentally deep-rooted African philosophy. Even though you may go to any government department's office these days, you will always come across with the words Batupele principles. But if you dig deep as to whether or not people live, breathe, and practice the Batupele principles, you find a different attitude altogether. And I'm saying these things because you have walked across the stage, and the expectation that we have is that indeed on this momentous occasion, on the day on which you graduated, here is a person who was a tree of life, a tree of liberty, and a tree of humanism, and a tree of Africanism and nationalism, graduating on the same day on which you're graduating. So that, in essence, is a day on which should always be remembered. But what has gone wrong? Some of us have really gone as far as forgetting the essence and the fundamentals of being Africans. In our journey of being our brothers and sisters' keepers, we have always been driven by the spirit and the ethos of I am because you are. But you see, most of the time, we forget that Africanness in us. There is a contradiction and a construction of separatism where we tend to categorize people in terms of race and gender. that categorization is in fact something that comes from the north or from the west. It was not there for us as Africans, because Africans clearly believed in oneness. Africans believed in Africanism, and Africans believed in Pan-Africanism. This ethos is the one which kept African people together for a long, long time. And even before the so-called imperialists, Western powers came to Africa, Britain, Germany, France, Portugal, and Spain, which then vandalized and balkanized our continent. You see, Africa is the mother continent, and it is not by mistake that Africa is termed the mother continent, because this is where African intelligentsia comes from. If you talk about the hieroglyphics and you talk about the origins of civilization, these come from Africa. But you see, because we have been so balkanized by the so-called superpowers, that contradiction tends to undermine the very integrity of an African. And remember, the theme of my talk is, I am because you are. Even though we have, okay, you are graduating at a time when we are remembering and commemorating the 26th anniversary of the brutal murder and assassination of Tembile Martin Chris-Hani on the 10th of April, 1993. Chris was the embodiment of the ethos and the philosophy of I am because you are. You know what I liked about Chris-Hani? Chris-Hani transcended the political divide. If you are with Chris and you are a PAC, Chris will not talk the ideology of PAC and ANC. He talks the ideology of politics, transcending that political divide. And this is exactly what we are missing today. And I'm saying to myself, of the 54 countries which make up the African continent, South Africa is probably one of the only country that does not have a name. It is still called the southern tip of the African continent, South Africa, because it is in South. And I don't think that when we were students at Forte, the South African Student Organization, we were wrong when we used to sing high and say one Azania, one nation. One nation, one Azania. Because South Africa is Azania, whether we like it or not. Much as we are united in diversity, we should at all times refuse to be drawn back into the days of apartheid and darkness, when Hendrik Verwoerd, which my colleague Rihanna here spoke about, gave a nice word, for apartheid. Verwoerd said, no. Actually, apartheid means separate development, so that you can develop separately. In 1958, when I first met Uncle Robert, that was in Alwa North, it just shows how old I am or how young I am, I was from school, and each time I walked from school, I will go via my uncle's place. And Uncle taught history in Malcolm Secondary School. And there was this old man with his pipe. And he asked me what it is that I like about town and the location. And I said, look, white people live in town and we live in the township. We are separated by a railway line, and I don't understand. And he said, so do you like this division? And I said, no, I don't like it because we are all human beings. With his deep voice, he said, yeah, my boy, you are going to be a leader one day. I'm not too sure whether I am, but that's what he said, you know. And from that day on, I said to myself, we are one in diversity, and we cannot allow the construction of the present to destroy the construction of the origin. Because the construction of the origin actually said, whether you are black, white, pink, or yellow, we remain human beings. The late Steve Biko used to dislike what some architects of apartheid used to boast about. And he used to say, some, and I'm happy that we are now 25 years down the line of our democracy, and apartheid is gone, it's dead, it will never come back, whatever political party wins, because we are united in diversity. And so Steve Biko used to poke fun at those who would say, you know, we are white. But this is what he used to say, that the VUTs and the John Fosters of this world believed in this philosophy, and I quote him: if you are white, you are right. If you are brown, hang around. But brother, if you are black, get back. You see, because this was the construction of division, where people were divided and categorized in terms of color. If you're white, you are right. If you're brown, hang around. If you're black, get back. That's a wrong construction, because the construction that we're talking about is the one of I am because you are. That was a psychopathetic thinking which cannot find place and space in the present day political landscape. As we journey into the new world and the new political order, we cannot reverse the gains we have made thus far, the gains which speak the language of you and I, of being I am because you are. And then, of course, you parents, there is a deeply rooted African culture which says, umfazi uzalela omnye umfazi, musadi utswala musadi omungwe. When you are an African child, you embrace the African values and the African philosophy and the African ethos of saying, I'm an African. The child next door is my brother, and the mother down the street is my mother. Whether that mother is not your biological mother, but that is what to be African means. When Thabo Mbeki, on the adoption of the Constitution, he said the words, I'm an African. He was not drunk. He was sober. Rihanna, can I say he was sober as a judge? The judge is always sober. Because he traced his African roots from saying, I'm a product of the Malays. I'm a product of Nongause. I'm a product of King Sikukuni. I'm a product, and I'm not saying this in a negative sense, I'm a product of the Boers. Because what he meant was that we are journeying together in this African continent of ours. That is why the Kwame Nkrumahs of this world and the Du Bois of this world would consistently be promoting Pan-Africanism because of the spirit and the philosophy of I am because you are. I'm not opening old wounds by this message, but I'm simply challenging you to stay put to your heartfelt African culture and in doing so, continue to being your brothers and your sisters' keepers, if we are to live, breathe, and embrace the spirit, the morality, and the ethos of I am because you are. Let me just take a pause here. You know, during our days, we used to, and now don't vision me in makwai and bell bottom. Those are the things that we used to wear. And I had long hair at 40, and and I had bell bottom, and you name it. And so I was on a train from Arwa North to Alice. It was at a time when the Lovedale College, which is just across Forte, as well as the Victoria Hospital. Now, I had a single compartment. There were students from Lovedale, because I think I looked so shabby because my hair was not done, and so they spoke in English, thinking that I don't understand the language. That categorization I was talking about. And they say, no, let's rob him. Maybe he's from the farms, So I listened quietly. And after some time, they came into my compartment and started, chatting amongst themselves. And when they were just about to act, and I said to them, I'm actually very disturbed that you, Africans, can say the things you're saying about another African. They moved one by one out of the compartment. That is the problem that we're having. We used to sing as students then, Mxhosa, Mzulu, Msotho, Tsonga, Hlanganani, because we said we are one. We are one as in Africans. So this thing of division in terms of categorization should not be there in Africa. We are one. That is why I am speaking about the negation of the philosophy of Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens wrote his masterpiece book, The Tale of Two Cities, wherein he says it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was an epoch of belief. It was an epoch of incredulity. I want us to move to a stage where we can now say it is the best of times. It is the epoch of belief. Let me conclude by saying to you, this is a moment of truth. This is a moment of realization. This is a moment of giving honor to one of the most outstanding women I've ever come across with. But you see, there is a section of our society which has experienced the brunt of political, cultural, educational, and economic hardships and imbalances. And that section of our people is women. But because of their determination, commitment, and resilience in fighting the injustices of the apartheid regime and the imbalances of the present regime, there is now a steady recognition of women as having been at the forefront of fighting against poverty, unemployment, and illiteracy. But you see, we continue talking about poverty, inequality, and illiteracy. But how many times can we start talking about materialism and personal aggrandizement and corruption and everything that goes with it? Very few. These are the evil giants against which Anne Veronica fought. And her resilience against apartheid finds expression in the naming of her children. Miliswa, building a solid foundation of Azania. That's the essence of that name. Idini lesizwe, the sacrifice of the nation, a reference to the parents sacrificing their lives and freedom for the sake of Azania. The third, may his soul rest in peace, Dalinjebo, wealth creation. Wealth cannot be created without land. That is why, as early as 1959, Sobukwe had a vision of the land question, expropriation of land without compensation. Now, it is very easy, colleagues. You cannot move from Africa and you go to China. And when you settle in China, you get a piece of land in China. And when the Chinese people want their land back, you say, no. This is my land. And you come from Africa. Your land is in Africa. So this is why the land question is very important. We cannot ignore it. It is part of the political debate which was envisioned as early as 1959. And so the land question is sacrosanct to the total emancipation of the people of Azania. And the last born, Dedani Zizwe. Foreigners give way. Now, give way in what sense? When a foundation shall have been created, when the fruits of sacrifice shall have been realized, and when wealth creation shall be there. This is a chronological order of the meaning and purpose of the construction of these names. And so I think it is important that as I conclude, I need to say to you everything that I've said, find expression in the debate which the registrar and I had the day before yesterday, where we share the same readings. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "My country, it is of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring." Congratulations, and I thank you. But before we dissolve the congregation, I want you to do just two things only. Rise from where you're sitting and hold your certificate on your right-hand side and your metaboard on your left. And you look at the academics sitting here by way of expressing your profound gratitude for what they have done, because I will equally be failing if I don't say through you, Mr. Dean, Dr. Dean, if I don't say, colleagues, thank you very much for what you have been and for what you have done. It has not been easy, but because of your determination, your resilience, as well as your patience, this is the results of your labor. And so thank you very much. Can you just rise and hold yours? I will demonstrate. Hold it on your right, and then your metaboard on your left. And I want to hear some ululations as a true African. Then we say to the academics, thank you very much. You know? Okay. While still standing, remember this is your day, but it is equally the day on which your parents are rejoicing with you. Now you turn onto the side of the parents and sponsors and you do exactly the same. And you thank them. Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. It was worth it. By virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I now dissolve the congregation of the VUT University of Technology.
Exactly. Manage.